starting things too early. Like I kind of rushed the gun a little bit this season, which kind of put me behind. I took like a risk at the beginning of the season in May. I was like, all right, I planted out all my trays, and then there was like one final frost, which pretty much killed everything and kind of set me
Dang.
behind. Which it took me like a week or two to figure out that like yeah these sprouts aren't popping. So that was
Oh,
kind of like
man.
a little bit of a setback. I mean, I guess like the things that I would say that aren't working well are kind of the experiments, but I mean, it's all like trial and error. You live and learn, I guess, and you just learn from your mistakes. As long as you learn from them and don't make them again.
Inside of the city, the people are crazy. Out of their minds, they ain't got a clue. We gone away, headed west for Montana. Left family and friends, all I got now is you. We both got new jobs, a house and a homestead, thinking this was the life, all that there'd be. After our firstborn, you had to stay home. That's when the work got in the way for me. Well, I started farm hop life. We'll come to your farm to help and to wander. Me and the family, a truck and an RV. Send us a message and there will be. This is the Farm Hop Life podcast, a traveling homestead family. I'm Matt DeRosier. Tonight, my guest is Generous Farmer. He hasn't been into farming long. He bought a farm after COVID happened with plans to go full time if he was ever forced to get the thing. He never got fired, and now he has two jobs, building a farm business while working full time. How you doing tonight, man?
Good. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to your listener.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. I've actually got I think you're the first person people have requested. Um,
Really?
yeah, they're like, when are you gonna get Generous Farmer on? I was like, I can reach out if his DMs were open.
Huh?
and then so after you started following me, I was like, there it is, and then off I went. So
No way! I can't believe that.
yeah, man. The just following like your Twitter, like you get a lot done being all on your own. It's kind of impressive.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
you just hustle.
obviously, I still work full time, but just I kind of, after work every day, just kind of do a couple hours worth of work around the farm, and that's kind of been what it's been taking. People are always asking me like, "Hey, how early do you get up in the morning?" But it's just like, nah, I usually wake up, go to work, and then just do some projects after the fact. But I'm just consistent with that, so I guess
Sure.
the motto would be just being consistent, kind of doing as little bit every day, kind of makes a big impact, I would say.
Right, right. Well, so so you bought your first farm when COVID started, but like, is that you just getting right into like farming and homesteading then? Like, have you any prior experience?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I did do a little bit of gardening. I grew up in like a suburban neighborhood, so I have like a little backyard garden. I've always kind of been um, doomsday prepper type oriented, just like always
Yeah,
kind of prepping for the apocalypse, or not, you know what I mean? But like kind of
tongue in
like when
cheek. Yeah, yeah.
2012 was coming around, and or just like it was. Yeah, I always had to be prepared for things, but so I kind of always wanted to learn how to grow my own food, so to speak. But then when COVID happened, it was kind of just put me into a scenario where I was like, this is kind of what I have to do. I felt like so. Then I just kind of put some of my finances into starting this up.
Sweet. So, like the whole property was what you bought when COVID started, or you already had the property?
No, I completely bought this property. It was kind of like perfect timing if you think about it, because like COVID happened and like I mean like the lockdowns and stuff like that happened in March, and then this property became available after being foreclosed on for 2 years, in June, and I bought it within like 9 days of it being on the market. So like, not many
Nice.
people even found this. I mean, it's a 10-acre property, kind of like in the middle of like a suburban neighborhood, so that's kind
Hmm.
of uncommon.
Yeah, it
But
is.
and then just like I'm in New Jersey, so um, uh, somewhat of the bigger properties are always like upwards of like 300, 400, $500,000. But I got a nice deal on this property.
Sweet,
It's
dude.
kind of in my price range, my affordability, you know. And then,
So go
sorry,
ahead. No,
no,
go ahead.
no, I was just saying. So then I just decided to, I kind of say I sniped the deal, you know, just put all the my eggs in one basket, and then just made it happen.
Nice. That sounds perfect. Like it's pretty cool when people, are able to like thread the needle just based on like sheer basically chance or luck or
Yeah.
whatever you call it. Yeah, that's awesome. Um so with things getting weird, is that what's motivating you to grow your own food?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Right. I mean, that's one part of it, but right now I'm also kind of focused on just creating another source of income. You know, so I mean, I kind of have like a dream of the property kind of being like self-sufficient to the point where it's kind of paying for itself, and that's kind of my main goal now, is to kind of have the property kind of pay for itself, and to the point where I could live and eat for free. So that's my first goal.
Sure. I
And
mean,
then I
that's a
see
good start. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I mean, I think it's a reasonable goal
Oh
to
yeah.
make that happen, and just kind of just trying to get my name out organically, you know, and to the point where people just spread the word and saying, "Hey, I know this cool organic type farm in Woodbine, you know, you should go check it out." And so, I mean, it's been pretty successful so far. I mean, like, I'm kind of taking a step back from like making things so urgent, you know, to the point where I can kind of take my time with things, and I kind of don't like to pressure myself into getting, you know what I mean, like getting things done. Like I have to get it done by this time. So, I mean, especially now that the fact that my job has allowed me to stay on board without, um, you know what I mean, getting the thing.
The
So,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um let's talk a little bit about what you've got on your property. So like you started with nothing, obviously, or did you
yep.
like bring chickens or something with you?
No, I actually bought some chickens right like I guess shortly after, like right after the pandemic started. Like I was like, at least I can have some eggs. So I ended up it was actually not allowed in like the suburban neighborhood, but I did it anyway. I was like, who's gonna really say something? You know what I mean? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Somebody's gonna say something about the chickens. So I bought some chickens, but because at the end of the day, all you need is some potatoes and like a potato and an egg a day to survive. So that was
Sure.
like half the battle. But so I bought some chickens. So I ended up moving them to this property, and when I bought the property, it was foreclosed on for 2 years, so it was all completely overgrown. You know,
Mm,
so there was like trees and saplings and like all that growing on the property because it wasn't mowed for like 2 years, and 6 acres of it is cleared, and then 4 acres of it's wooded. And then so I first started when I bought it, just got like a brush mower and just started clearing the property, and I was working on that like all winter. And then in the springtime, I had a greenhouse built, and one of those farmer friend greenhouses, 100
yeah.
by 16 foot. I mean, they're pretty good for the money, and just decided to just jump into it. And just another big part I just definitely need to give some credit to is Never Sink Farm. I don't know
Mm.
if you're familiar with him, but
I've
I
seen them on
definitely,
Instagram. Yeah.
yeah, I definitely learned a lot from him. Like he's got a course, and definitely wanted to start off on the right foot with not making too many errors. You know, like a lot of
Right.
trial, errors and trials. So I mean, I felt like the first season was last year, and I felt like it was pretty successful. You know, the crops that I was growing all ended up looking pretty healthy. So kind
Good.
of just and then this was my second season, but
I was gonna say it seems like you're working hard, but you're also being patient, which is like the perfect combination. Just lots of hard work, but you got to be patient at the same time. Because man, it's very easy to just be like, "Why isn't this done, like ready yet?" Or
Yep.
I'm so far behind. Like patience, patience.
Yeah, it's definitely it's kind of fits my personality. I kind of don't. I like kind of appreciate like just being more so laid back with certain things, and just I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, you can kind of create the response that you can give to certain situations that have to you. So I mean, just in a sense, like holding that power over the things, just not letting them get to you, or just not stressing out about things. Like you have the control to make those type of things happen for you. In my opinion.
No, agreed, agreed. Um, so you've got your chickens, you've got your greenhouse. Didn't you buy like a cow? Was that just this year?
What was it?
You bought a cow?
Oh yeah, Josie. She's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just for milk.
she's out back. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about getting into the next year. I kind of want to be able to do some dairy products, and then so I built like a little roadside stand. So any of the people like there's thousands of people that live in this neighborhood. So if they want to get any type of fresh dairy products or flowers or any type of produce, they can kind of come to my place. So I'll put like a little refrigerator in there, and then next year with hopes of like selling like butter and like maybe like cream cheese and maybe ice cream and things like that. Maybe even milk, but it's actually from New Jersey, so it's actually illegal to sell raw milk, but I can always sell it for pet products. You know what I mean?
There you go. Exactly, exactly. There's always a way around. This is dog friendly ice cream. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, one big thing that I really appreciate that's kind of like silly is from the cow is just the manure that she creates. It just so that's one thing I was diving into recently was making my own compost. So I'm real excited about trying that out because I'm sure that compost, like good quality compost, is pretty expensive.
Yeah, I think you posted a picture like yesterday or today
Yep.
or something like that. You like turned in the compost with your tractor and
Yep. Yeah, just using. I bought like a little Kubota, like BX23S, and so I mean that's definitely I feel like kind of helpful with like overturning the compost frequently
mm-hmm.
and oxygenating it and things like that. So it's definitely I can't imagine doing this place without a small little tractor.
Oh, for sure. Do you
Yeah.
did you buy that used or did you get that
I
brand new?
when I bought the property, like Kubota was running a really nice deal, like a 0% interest rate for like zero, and then like no payments for like 3 months. So I ended up. I'm always attracted to things when things are being sold at 0% interest.
Yeah.
So I hopped on that deal, and so I bought it brand new.
That's freaking sweet. I was wondering about that. They always have like for some reason Kubota has like the best financing of like
Yeah,
their I don't know, just they just make it so easy for
yeah,
homeowners and homesteaders and entry like level like farmers to get started with machinery. So
yeah. I mean I mean that was another thing I would say. Like I mean when COVID happened, the interest rates for the houses all ended up dropping. So that was another thing that kind of led me to be able to purchase a house. I mean, I pretty much nailed the bottom of the market with the interest
sure.
rates for the house too. And now they're up like probably like 5-6% now. So I can't imagine buying a property now.
Right.
You know. So I mean, it was just kind of everything just kind of lined up.
You must feel pretty blessed then to
Oh yeah, for sure.
have what you
Yeah,
have.
you have to appreciate all those small things. But now I'm just trying to take it to the next level. And just that's kind of why I named the place Generous Greens, and then just trying. I mean, my goal at the end of the day is after all the finances are taken care of, is to try and like give back to the community, and just like
Right?
whether that's like donating food to churches or things like that or food banks. So that's kind of like my end goal, when I kind of hit the goals.
Right. Yeah. It's like in permaculture, return on surplus.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure just you can produce a lot. Like one person's able to produce a lot of food. Like if you think about it,
Hmm.
like I think like the statistics are like what, like a couple, like 1 or 2, 3% of the country produces like pretty much all the food for everybody.
Right.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Do you have like a, let's say, like a plan or a design that you're trying to stick to for like your property, or do you have like specific methods or techniques or
Um. So
practices?
so it's definitely like a no-till. Like I kind of follow in Connor's footsteps, Connor Crickmore from Neversink. Like as far as like the no-till type aspects. So I mean that's like one big thing. But I mean permaculture, I'm sure, kind of I mean has its place in that type of farming technique. The point where you're using outputs of one plant or species and it's the input of another plant or species, like I was saying about the compost. So
Yeah.
my goal is to pretty much just get self-sustainable to the point where I don't really need to keep importing stuff to the farm, and just kind of make it self-sufficient. So like uh that's kind of like the goal. And so, I mean, I recently just put an orchard on the farm, and so
Nice.
I'll be fertilizing that with the compost that I'm creating, and then I'll be using the compost in the beds, for when I do like bed flips and things like that.
What did you plant for your fruit trees?
So I bought some like nectarines and some apples, some cherries, some peaches, some plums.
Sweet.
And yeah, so I mean, like I had a spare area on the property, so I was like, I might as well try and make this work for something. And it was just that's kind of how I shoot sometimes, just like off the hip, just like I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. But it's kind of been working. And
Yeah.
then so I mean, like now that that's kind of out of the way, my next couple of things are maybe get some pigs or some bees. That's kind of the route I might shoot for next year, and just slowly over time, just build out, and as long as like I keep having the time to create new things here, just like and keep expanding. I'm sure you know that farming's like kind of like endless. Like you'll never pretty much be done
Right.
with it. But
Yep. There's always a loose end to tie up for sure.
yeah, but
So
sorry.
I was just gonna say, talking about like trying to make yourself self sufficient. So like, how I'm curious how you've thought about closing some of those loops, like feed for your cow or feed for the chickens or anything like
Yeah.
that.
No, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know a lot of people in like the carnivore type movement are like against feeding chickens corn, but obviously, I think corn's kind of necessary to feed chickens. I mean, like it's like one of those easy things to. So I mean, so like one of the things I was kind of hoping to focus on this year, which was kind of unsuccessful, was like growing more corn and just kind of processing the corn, but. Jersey, believe it or not, even though it's the Garden State, had like kind of a unexpected drought this season.
Hmm.
Like we really didn't receive much rain like all summer. Like maybe it rained like maybe once or twice or three times, maybe max. Like I felt like this whole summer, which is really strange for Jersey. So I mean, like a lot of corn's grown like out in the fields without irrigation, and so I ended up pulling my irrigation early in the season out of the corn once it was established, and pretty much I had somewhat of a crop failure on the corn, which
Hmm.
was kind of like my goal this year to produce a lot of corn to the kind of and then process it and then have feed for the chickens. So next year I can learn that lesson that I'm going to leave the irrigation and then at least probably water like once or twice a week just to kind of make that happen. But as far as Josie goes, she's got about like 3 acres right now of grass, and she's just a single cow. And besides the drought, like I remember last year, which was my first year here, like the grass like literally grew nonstop. Like I remember like cutting grass like at least like once a week. Like that's how quick it was growing. But right
Hmm.
now, like I haven't mowed my lawn in probably like a month maybe,
That's a
and
big difference.
yeah, it's definitely a big difference. So I mean, it was kind of so bad that I started irrigating her pasture just to get the grass, to encourage the grass to grow, just
Right.
so she has feed going into the winter, you know. And then obviously I'm going to supplement her with hay, but I'm going to try and get as much. I'm going to let her graze down her pasture first before I. I mean, she always has a bale, but I'm gonna before I really start feeding her hay on the daily. Just, I feel like she eats about like a half a bale a day, like some,
Hmm.
you know, has the potential to. But I mean, I'm thinking about the inside of the fence. Like she's outside of the fence, so I'm letting the grass grow inside of the fence, and then I'm just gonna let set up like a little temporary electric fence. Like once we enter the fall, and then I'll let her eat all that up first.
So you're
So
kind of doing like a intensive like paddock shift, paddock rotation for her. Or?
yeah, that was kind of the goal. So she's got 3 acres, and then like I have it split up into an acre and a half, like each. Like it was just easy to the point where her shelter is like in the middle, and then her wooder's in the middle, and then I can just section off one side
Mm-hmm.
to let her graze in there, and then when I want to irrigate and let her graze in the other path, like I just all I have to do is just um, you move the electric fence, which is like takes me like less than 5 minutes. But
Nice.
right now, I let her. I mean, since we're in September now, September 1st, I opened up the whole pasture to her, and I don't think she's going to be able to eat all the grass. I think the grass is still kind of growing slowly, but I, you know, so she'll like sporadically like eat the grass, and then there'll be other grass growing to the point where I don't think I think she'll be able to have the grass grow and create a and then be able to eat well until maybe hopefully October or so. So
Sure. Would you, so you're bringing in hay, would you consider like if you were whoever you get your hay from, right? For like a trade, something from your property to the guy that gives you hay, like do you think that counts as being self-sufficient because you're not like just handing him money, like you're just
no,
bartering for hay?
no, I mean that's a great idea. I'm not the place I get hay from. He does like Christmas trees and stuff like that too. But he's got like the best deal, and he's kind of local. Like he was just doing like $3 a bale. I'm not sure like how much it costs where you're at, but I mean that's pretty cheap in my opinion. You know,
I
the
think
point
so. It
where
sounds cheap.
yeah. So I mean, but I mean that's a great idea. I've never met him. He's kind of has like a contactless type setup too, where you kind of
Sure.
just come by on the honor system,
Gotcha.
where he's got
Maybe he needs
the
compost for his trees.
yeah. No, I mean that's a good point. I mean right now since I'm like still setting everything up, I feel like I could probably, and I'm still expanding, and I'm still like putting more rows out. So I kind of am gonna probably be using most of the compost, like for probably for like the next year or two. But
Of course.
Josie
Yeah.
does produce a lot, you know, so to speak, and
Yeah.
so I mean, eventually I'm gonna end up having a surplus of that. But I mean, I'm sure you know that it takes a little bit of time to get the things kind of established around the farm,
Oh yeah.
and then eventually, then it kind of just takes off almost exponentially.
Yep. Like if I can't kill it for the first 2 years, I'm probably good.
Yep.
So
But
let's talk about a couple other things like that have worked well for you. Do you have like a specific uh, breed of chicken or that like does well for your area or because you guys are humid out there, aren't you? Like
yeah, definitely. I mean, our winters aren't really too bad. I mean, it kind of drops to like the 20s or so in the winter. But I overwintered some silver Wyandottes, and they were okay in the winter. That was kind of like a breed that was like somewhat okay to being in cold temperatures. I did just recently get some ISA Browns because
mm,
they have higher egg production. I think they lay about like 318 eggs a year, which is like almost like an egg a day if you think
holy
about it.
smokes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 80% or 85% or so. So we'll see how they do because the chickens I have now kind of dropped off a little bit. I'm not too sure what happened with them, but I got like 20 of those, and they've lately only been laying about like 3 to 6 eggs a day. So I don't know if somebody was saying that maybe they're getting ready to go into like a malting or just
Right.
getting into winter type preparation. But I mean, I can't really. So I need to up the egg production going into next year. So I purchased like 30 ISA browns. So I don't think that's going to be a problem going into the future. I mean, that should be like 12 dozen a week almost. So that'll be a nice, whether be like at sell them about like $5 a dozen.
Sure. Yeah. What?
What do what
How's
do
your
eggs
farm
go
stand
for?
doing?
It's going pretty good. I set things up, and then I have like flowers in there. I got watermelons in there, and then I had like cucumbers, tomatoes, and potatoes, and just things like that in there. And I mean, nobody's stolen anything yet, so
That's
which,
good.
which I mean, it's not really. I mean, if it did happen, like I'd be like, all right, well, obviously they needed some produce so they can have it. You know what I mean? But I mean, every time like I notice something's missing, like I go check the box and there's money in there. So it's
Sweet.
doing pretty successful. I manage a supermarket, and we're about to get rid of some like standalone refrigeration cases. So I talked to my boss about taking some of those, and I was thinking about maybe putting one of them in the stand, and then I can put like bag salads and stuff like that. So the name of the
Dude, that'd be
company is
awesome.
Generous Greens because I mean obviously farms make probably the most gross profit on greens, and I really haven't stood behind that too well because I mean if you think about it, if you cut down some greens and you put them in your stand and then the heat's getting to them, they all end up starting wilting, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure people get like high quality stuff. So I kind of been like this season I focus more on like the things that can stand the heat or last a couple of days, like potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, things like that. But eventually, I want to get behind the greens. You know what I mean? More so.
That'd be a sweet setup. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Do you so being at the supermarket, are you able to take like the food waste and bring it home?
So right now we have like a setup with pig farmers, which are like a local pig farmers, and that we have like we put a lot of because obviously like the trash companies charge you how much like weight you're pulling out of there. So a big part of the waste is like food waste, and pig farmers come by and pick that up. But
Okay.
if I really had to, like if I decided to get some pigs, I'm sure my boss or wouldn't care if I pulled some of that food waste out. I could probably take as much as I wanted to. But um, obviously I would need like a truck or some way to transport that from the market to my farm, which I'm not capable to do yet. But down the line,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure that's possible to take the food waste out. Like my associates at the market always take the plastic off and like all that, so it's just ready to dump into like a pig pen, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Nice.
So I mean,
What
that's definitely has potential for sure.
yeah, what breed of pig are you thinking about getting?
I know Potbelly is not a good one, but
It's
I
a
think like
classic American pig, isn't it?
what's that?
Isn't the potbelly like this the classic American pig?
Yeah, I think they're more so for pets though. I don't think they're.
I
I don't think.
guess.
I think they're like maybe more greasy than like other pigs. But I think like
Mm,
Yorkshire, is like a potential pig, and then I forget the other type of pig that I was looking at, but I have it written down. But I mean, just like the type of pigs that produce like good pork, and not too I guess demanding. I guess you could say, but
sure.
taste is probably important. But I mean, I know pigs obviously eat a lot, so I have to be ready for that type of a situation. I don't want to be able to. I don't want to have to make it cost like this. Like I don't want to have to like what I mean, like supplement them with foods. You know what I mean, so to speak. But yeah, I'll get there one day. I think I might end up doing bees first, seem a little bit more simpler. I already got the flower field for them to eat, you know.
There you go. Yeah, nice. What hasn't worked well? Like you said, like the corn failed this year because the irrigation got pulled early. But like, what you're like, oh man, that kind of messed up that one.
Huh. That's a good question. I mean, corn was definitely one of the things for sure, but I mean that was kind of a like an experiment, I guess you could say. But starting things too early, you know, like I kind of rushed the gun a little bit this season, which kind of put me behind. I took like a risk at the beginning of the season in May. I was like, all right, I planted out all my trays, and then there was like one final frost, which pretty much killed everything and kind of set me
Dang.
behind. Which I it took me like a week or two to figure out that like yeah these sprouts aren't popping, you know. So that was
Oh
kind of like
man.
a little bit of a setback. I mean, I guess like the things that I would say that aren't working well are kind of the experiments, but I mean, it's all like trial and error. You know, you live and learn, I guess, and you just learn from your mistakes. As long as you learn from them and don't make them again. But
Yeah.
that was one thing. But yeah, this season was more so like just building infrastructure. I feel like I had to put the fence up around the property, build a roadside stand and greenhouses and things like that. So that was more so my focus area this year. So, but I mean, I felt like I did produce a lot of food for. I mean, just for the season, just to continue get my name out. But my grand opening set for next season, next May.
Oh, gotcha. What makes it the grand opening? Like
Like
something special?
so I mean I plan on having I mean all obviously all the infrastructure kind of set up by then, you know, like the processing. One of the greenhouses it is a Rimmel greenhouse, which I has like three bay sinks and like stainless steel like refrigerators and things like that. And like it's kind of like the propagation type setup where I'll be starting all the starts. Like that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't set up last year, but that'll be set up. So I mean, I won't really have to focus on much infrastructure. Like next season, it'll be just straight to the races and just kind of just focusing on growing crops. And then another thing I want to focus on is just having a lot of starts and like more so like nursery type stuff, like
Mm.
pansies and like impatiens and sun patience and like started zinnias and I think that and started tomatoes and peppers and I think that might be a hit next season. Just being able to provide that for people like that want to start their own little gardens.
I think that'd be like pretty successful.
Yeah, so I mean that's the goal. I mean, so we'll see how that goes. But the grand opening, and then hopefully I might have somebody else helping me next season. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Just like a farmhand or whatever.
So I mean, I met this one girl who was kind of interested in the farm type life. So I mean, she actually lives on the opposite coast in California, but we're
Hmm.
actually going to meet in like 2 weeks. So she's flying
Nice.
out here. Yeah, so she's flying out here, and so I mean, as long as all goes well, then hopefully she'll be around to help me just like weed and just prune and pretty much another thing I would hopefully try to do would maybe go to like farmers markets. There's a ton of farmers markets around me. Like I could be hitting them like constantly, you know, and I think that'd be a
Yeah,
big source of income. But
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess that goes back to one other thing that didn't go well this season was like staying on top of the weeds and pruning. Like I definitely got behind on that. So that was something last year that I wanted to focus better on. And like the beginning of the season, I was doing it well, but they caught up pretty quick.
Right. Yeah. You like miss one day and it's like,
Yep.
ah, yep. That's kind of funny that she's you got you guys' first date like is gonna be like, hey, I'm glad you're here. Let's get weeding.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
are
that's
you are
kind of
you are
why I'd
you
be
in or are
happy.
you out? I need to know.
Yep, exactly. We're going to work. But that
That's
was kind
funny.
of one of the things that I told her that we'd probably end up doing when she comes is harvesting some chickens. I got like 20 Cornish cross,
Oh, nice.
chickens that'll pretty much be ready to at weight or so to be ready for like the same week she's here. So
Gotcha.
yeah, even though she's kind of not against killing chickens, but she's like, you can do the killing, but I'm gonna end up showing her how to process them.
There you go. Have you done it before?
Yeah, I've done it once or twice or so now. Um, I mean, that kind of goes with like being self sufficient, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
like last winter, I ended up filling my freezer full of like maybe I think it was just like 10 Cornish cross, but that kind of lasted. I mean, like I'm a single guy, so that kind of lasted me like all winter. You know, just I bought like a 50 pound bag of rice, and then I was just eating chicken and rice, and then beef. I like eating a lot of beef, so but I'll
Mm-hmm.
buy that when it's on sale. But that's like one thing that I can't produce yet. But one day, with if Josie produces a bull,
Yeah. Yeah, because you just had her AI'd, right?
yep. So yeah, so I guess we'll know if that was successful in like a couple weeks. I think the vet said about 6 weeks he'd pop back in and give her a little pregnancy test and let us know if she was confirmed pregnant or not.
That'd be pretty cool. What
Yeah, I
does
mean,
something
I hope
like
so.
AI cost? Like, what does all that
I don't
cost?
know. Actually, the vet hasn't charged me yet, so I'm still waiting for him to send me the bill. I'm guessing he's going to wait to the next visit or so and make sure
Okay,
it was successful.
sure.
But I'm sure probably like a couple $100 maybe, probably
Mm,
like 200 $300, $300. I'm assuming because he
gotcha.
had to travel here and stuff like that. But I
Right.
mean, she's kind of just useless, so to speak, besides producing compost
You
until
have
she
you
gets pregnant.
have you tried milking her yet, or no?
No, I mean she's a heifer, so
Oh,
she
okay,
hasn't
gotcha.
even
Oh,
had
okay.
a. She
Yep, yep.
hasn't even she's only like a year and a half old, so like this is like she just started when I ended up buying her. She just started going into heat.
Mm,
So the dairy farm I got her from was considering AI in her and getting her, and then the point where I'd end up buying her when she was already pregnant, but they at a certain point in April they were just like, we got to get rid of this cow, like hay's getting too expensive and we just need the money and stuff like that. So um
gotcha.
so I ended up just buying her like when she just started. But yeah.
Can I ask what a dairy cow costs?
Yeah, she was like I mean transported from she came from Maine, a dairy
Oh,
farm up in Maine. And then I live in New Jersey, so it was probably like a 13-hour drive or something like that. So all said and done, she cost me like 4 grand.
whoa. It's higher than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why.
Yeah. She was 3 grand, but it was $1,000 to transport her down here, which obviously I couldn't transport her. So that kind of that
Right,
was kind of like a prerequisite for
right,
buying her.
right. Yeah, yeah. I could see. Yeah, that's a long drive. I mean, obviously, it's a 2 day drive for whoever does it. So,
Yep.
however
But the
their
people that brought
day
them
they
down
do.
were
But
delivering other animals to other places. Like they had goats. It was kind of like Noah's Ark in there. It was like they had goats and like
that's funny.
I think they had other like donkeys and things like that. They had a huge trailer, so they were heading down south. From, so I guess they do that for a living. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, I mean, it was definitely necessary. It was, I mean, like I was saying earlier, that was kind of like a spontaneous thing. But Bull Respecter, I'm sure you follow her. She was kind of helping
Yep.
me out, guiding me in that whole process. She was like, my favorite type of cow was Normandy breed, and then I was like, all right, well, I definitely take your word for it. I need to find a
Right.
Normandy. And Josie was like the one Normandy. Like I searched like on eBay, and not eBay, but like Craigslist and like everywhere for like weeks and weeks. And this one dairy farm up in Maine was authorized like a Normandy breeder dealer, so to speak. And so I was like, I have to have this cow. If it's not this cow, I probably won't have a cow probably for another 2 years, and who knows if I'll even be able to get a cow in 2 years.
Right.
Since they're trying to ban cows all over the planet.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. Weird. Um, what would you say has been the biggest challenge in farming you faced?
That's a good question. I guess like one thing I guess that I wish was like a little bit better was more so like I guess like the outreach or like kind of like I guess I mean the community support's great, but you know what I mean. I wish it was like a probably like a little bit better, but I mean like I'm still like in the infancy stage, so I mean I can't expect like too much, you know. I mean like year one, year two. I mean so it's I'm still kind of but I would say that's kind of like a something I got to work on like a little bit, just kind of reaching out to maybe restaurants and just kind of marketing the farm, so to speak, you know.
Right. That's hard to do. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it was like kind of having like the farm established and then having nice photos. Like I put nice photos on the website and stuff like that. And I recently designed some feather flags so people can kind of see like that. Hey, we are kind of like a professional looking farm, you know, and
Yes.
like aesthetics and stuff like that is kind of important to me too. Just to make like that was one thing that kind of made me be attracted to farm. Like I always thought like farms like could you know be like all disheveled and like you know messy looking, but like when I seen like Connor's farm and I was like wow, farms can actually look like clean and like aesthetically pleasing. Like that was something that like kind of drew me to it as well, especially like the no-till type practices.
Right. It
But
depends on the angle of what angle you're looking at on the farm. Like, okay, this part looks really good.
yeah,
If you go just over here, not so good.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it is right now. You know, just taking those good photos. Hence why I didn't take too many photos this season.
Right.
But I mean, like it's good though. I mean, it's like I said, it's all just a learning curve. But next season, I got it. We'll be weed free and
We'll be weed
looking
free,
pristine.
weed free and pristine.
Yeah.
Um, are you looking for ways like like mentors or like teachers or like something to like help you get into those markets better or
That's a good question. I mean, I do have people that are interested. You know, just like just talking to friends and family. Like I know some chefs and things like that who have connections with restaurants. I think that should be like a kind of like a focus area. I kind of might be like not really focusing on restaurants, but I mean I think at the end of the day that might be the you know the bread and butter. You know, just maybe even selling to restaurants. There's a restaurant couple right around the corner from me. Like I could walk to them, you know, or deliver stuff on my tractor to them. But I mean, I think that's probably something that could be focused on for sure next year.
gotcha. Yeah, it's that I mean, if you have multiple products to sell people, that obviously helps a lot. Whereas like we just have, just an excess of eggs and at least 50% of them I just end up like giving away.
Really?
So, well, yeah, just like I just don't think a lot of people around me value. I mean, if I went like let's say, I don't know, 35 miles north or 35 miles south, like I would do better, but it's also not a huge priority for me right now anyways.
Sure.
And like if I only have the one product, like it's kind of I don't know, that's kind of the thing I'm running into right now.
Gotcha. What state are you in?
Montana.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. So like Bo Respecter, like we talk every now and then and she's not that far from me. She's just
Wow.
like yeah, like 8-9 hours I think, something like that.
That's
So
not bad.
yeah, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, so eventually we're gonna like meet up and I'm gonna see her like place and all its
Uh,
glory or whatever. So
yeah. She's got some big projects going on over there.
dude,
Told
it's
her I was gonna maybe come out and
she's
visit her.
insane. You
Yeah,
should,
it's
you should.
awesome. Nah, I
Um,
mean, definitely learning a lot from her. I definitely appreciate her. You know,
right.
she's like a wealth of knowledge. You know.
I know it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say the best part about farming is?
Um, I mean, one big thing that just came to mind was just being somewhat of your own boss, just not having somebody telling you what to do every day. Not saying that, I mean, like, I'm a boss over at my other job, but obviously there's um, people above me over there, but
Mm-hmm.
that don't tell me what to do, but it's just being able to do my own thing and just kind of, well, a big part of it is just being like, just following my passion. I mean, and just like the point where just what should I say? It's just I always just follow like if I don't feel like doing something one day, I kind of wait for it to come up in me to the point where I want to follow through with that, so to speak.
Sure.
Like where it's just like, all right, well, I need to weed, but I'm gonna wait for the time to where I'm in the mood to weed, so to speak. Not saying that I have to do it every day, but that was kind of one of the reasons I got behind on weeding. But
Right.
I just let things. I kind of let the. I don't know what I don't know what you would call it. Just like that creative energy or whatever. Just kind of guide me through the farming processes. Like recently this week, building compost and learning how to do that was kind of like on, I guess, like on my passion level. So that's what I ended up doing this week. It was like something that I ended up wanting to learn about, and so I was focused on that. You know,
Right.
I guess like it might be like obsessive compulsive disorder or something like that, where you kind of just go from one thing to the next. But that's kind of just how I've been letting things go, and it's been working so far. So I'm just gonna keep going with it.
Good. Yeah. Um, what makes a sustainable farm? Like we talked about sustainability, and is it more than just um, minimizing your inputs and like maximizing your outputs? Is that what makes it sustainable, or is there more to it?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the definition of it. To the point where just not having I mean, like a big part of it takes obviously some of the income that I have from my off farm job. So I'm kind of trying to minimize that. So I would say
Mm-hmm.
like being sustainable would be to the point where I don't need to do that anymore. To the point where I can some of the outputs kind of cover the cost of like the inputs. I'm
Right.
not there yet, but hopefully within a year or two, I'll be there. You know.
That'd be pretty quick. I mean, that'd be really quick.
I
I think,
mean, there's
anyways. I don't
plenty of
know.
clientele around here, so there's no reason for me not to be able to.
Right.
And then, I mean, as things get established and my costs kind of go down, like I was hoping not to spend too much money this season and just kind of catch up on things. But obviously, there's things that I ended up buying, like Josie and things like that.
Whoops.
Yeah,
Whoops. I
4,000.
bought a cow. Whoops.
Yep. But I'm
Whoops.
sure
I
that'll
bought
happen
bees and
probably for a
pigs.
couple years. What's that?
Next year. Whoops. I bought bees and pigs.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be
Probably.
surprised. I got 4 acres of woods not being eaten up back there.
Are you going to put the pigs in the woods?
That was kind of the goal. I mean,
That's
I
smart.
kind of want to set up like maybe a fence in there, and then I mean, they also will clear it out. Eat a bunch of the shrubs, and so I'll have some clear woods after that, and I'll have some pork, and so yeah, definitely plan on putting them in the woods.
Nice. That'll look. I think that'll look nice. I don't know if you follow Josiah Young um,
No.
on Twitter. His he's got goats. Like his thing is like goats or whatever, and he always posts pictures of like goats like clearing out like all his
Oh yeah.
overgrown brush and stuff. And
I think I might follow him, but I'm not too sure if I've seen too many of the photos that he posts.
yeah, it's I mean those things just like after 2-3 days, it's just like all right, we're ready to go somewhere else. And he's like, well, dang, I wasn't ready to move you yet.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely yeah, just utilizing the property to its kind of max potential, I guess.
Right. Make the animals do the work for you.
Yeah.
Does a sustainable farm tie in with a regenerative farm, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess, like, what would the major differences be? Do you think?
I guess um, that's a good question.
Hmm.
The regenerative part, where like I suppose it would heal the land, whereas that's kind of more of like maybe it's not the main focus, but it's at least an equal focus or a focus. Um, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously having cows, like, I feel like that's. I mean, having Josie is like a definitely regenerative. I mean, like, I can't imagine like the pie, her cow pie is like not helping restore
Right.
the land, and then even with the chickens and the chicken tractors, just I mean, every single time they tear up a piece of land that I have them on, like, I just know that that's going to grow back like way stronger and way healthier than it was before. Like, I've seen evidence from it last season, like the grass is greener, thicker, taller in the areas where I had the chickens last year, just because their manure is like full of nitrogen,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, that's a big part of the compost now. But so, I mean, definitely building up the land over time, like, that's something I think about often, just like how great the ground's going to be, like, in the future. This place used to be a farm, so I mean the ground is pretty good right now, and then we are in the garden state. But so I mean everything's been growing pretty good here, so I mean it was already pretty good ground to start off with, in my opinion. But it's just gonna keep getting better and better. Like, I don't plan on selling this place forever.
Right. I'm curious if you've ever had a soil test done, like to
I
see what you have
did.
now.
I could probably pull that up, but anything specific you're thinking of?
No, just curious if it
Yeah.
like nope, everything looks good, or like oh that's weird, it's high in arsenic. Or, I don't know.
I hope not. I gotta probably look at it. But long story short, I did have some tests done just to kind of get like a base sample done when I first bought the property, and then probably like maybe next year I'll end up doing like another test just to see like what changed since I first bought it. Just like what went up, what went down, so to
Right.
speak, and
Yeah, that
then
makes
kind of
sense.
gauge it from there. But I mean, like, it's all organic practices, so I only use like organic type stuff like feather meal and blood meal and stuff like that when I'm flipping beds, and biochar, and so I mean, like, and then I'm using good compost, so I don't think uh, I don't think we'll be going backwards.
Right. Yeah, unless something like if they spray over your house for something, who knows what.
Yeah, sometimes I see chemtrails, but not too often.
Oh, weird. There's a high amount of aluminum in my
Yeah,
soil. That's I
I
don't
mean
like
that
that.
actually is happening around the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a thing that came out recently, something like I think it was out of Australia. There's like a high amount of lead in like backyard chicken eggs, and
Really?
it was only a headline. I didn't read the article, and people were pretty quick to dismiss it. Like, well, yeah, because the city or something. I don't know. Maybe there's like lead in the water that they're getting. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, I just use well water, so I mean, like, I only have like a sediment filter on it, so
Mm,
whatever is underneath me is going on the crop. So, but I should probably test that water to see exactly what's in it or whatever. But I mean, I can't imagine it being too bad. But
you wouldn't think so. I tested my water and I got 10 out of 10 on iron.
really, yeah, definitely iron's in there. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you know about? I mean, as far as like iron goes, I mean, I can kind of tell that some crops don't like too much iron, but some of them
I
it
know
doesn't really
nothing.
matter. Huh?
I know nothing about
Okay.
the
Yeah,
crops that need
I was just
iron.
wondering. Like, I noticed like some greens and stuff like that don't like the iron, but some crops it doesn't even matter. Like
Hmm.
cucumbers, I feel like might, even though it's drip irrigation, like I feel like they might not appreciate the iron too much. Like last year, I had sprinklers on them, and it kind of looked like the leaves weren't appreciating that too much.
Hmm.
But most crops don't. It seem like it doesn't really matter too much. But
Sure.
that'd be like one thing maybe I consider maybe sticking some carbon filters on there or something, just trying to get it as clean as possible. That's going to be a hurdle going into next year with the wash pack station setup. Like I mean that's another part of the not processing greens. Like I want to make sure that I have like nice clean water and like not things that are heavy with iron and stuff like that before I start selling things like that, like greens and
Mm-hmm.
that things that need to be washed.
Right. Yeah. I was just trying to remember the levels, like the actual like parts per million levels out of my well. It was so the safe drinking level established by the EPA is like 0.3 parts per million on iron, and I was at 6, not point
Wow.
0.6, 6 parts per million on the iron. And
Oh my goodness.
I know, so it's a stupid high. I bought this like 3-stage water filter for the house. It was like $500, so not bad. But I was changing out filters, like specifically my iron filter, like every 2 months,
Wow.
and it was just like getting really expensive. And so we finally bought just a dedicated iron filter, and now it's down to 0. So that's
Really?
nice. Yeah,
You might
but
have
it's
you might
only
have to
it's only
send
for
me
the
that.
house. So I mean, and if I have hose bibs like on the like spigots on the outside of the house, like it's good for that. But like where I have my hydrant out the yard, I don't think it works for that. So
Huh. You have to send me what you got. I'll probably end up doing something similar.
yeah, sure. I
Not the
mean,
same thing.
it's pretty cheap and it's pretty easy to install. It's how I kind of
Cool.
got into like plumbing, like learning how to do some plumbing. So I didn't know how to do it before then. Now
Yeah.
I can hook up some lines. Like I had to redo when we got that second iron filter. Like I ended up redoing the whole thing. Like it took
Wow.
me all day to do it, but I got
It's
it
worth it.
done. So
It's
yeah,
important.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. It drives me nuts when I like don't have like good water. Like I'll go to my parents' house and be like, gross. This tastes awful because it's on city
Oh.
water.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of the most. I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, we're pretty much selling water. Just that's pretty much what the crops like 80-90% are.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. However they filter it.
Yeah.
Um, what would you tell people that want to get started? Farming, homesteading, anything.
I would just say, just jump into it. You know what I mean? Just gotta learn, right? I mean, as you go. Just like it's not as hard as you might think it might be. Like everybody always is like I can't imagine having doing all that. But I mean, like just like I was saying earlier, just a little bit every day is kind of just adds up over time. And I mean, everybody is a lot more capable at doing it than they might think they are. You know.
That's true. Don't overthink it. Just get into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, just start somewhere, wherever your passion might be, whether that's growing flowers or having some like a small chicken flock, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on, like something that we missed or something that we didn't get to that you wanted to bring up?
um, not too sure. Yeah, I mean, I kind of went into this just to kind of just all just kind of without any major plans or just to see like where it went.
Yeah.
Like kind of just but I mean nothing off the top of my head. Um, I mean, I think we did cover a lot of topics.
Yeah, we
I
did.
mean, there's really not much else I got going on at the farm. I mean, at this time that besides like really what we covered, like the flowers, like that's one big aspect. I mean, that's a nice gross profit type thing that just kind of keeps producing and um, cover the orchard and all
Let's
that.
talk about the flowers for a second. Um,
Yep.
do you like them? How did you get into the flowers, or
Uh,
are they just profitable and like that's why you like them?
I mean, obviously it helps the bees, so that's pretty important, and then eventually I'll have some bees. But I mean, like they are definitely profitable, and people love buying flowers. Like one thing I always noticed at the market, like um, all like the women and stuff like that, like buying flowers. Like I always see them with flowers in their shopping cart. So I was like, so I mean, it just kind of was like an easy thing to provide for people, you
Sure.
know. So I mean, not to mention they're just beautiful to look at. Like I just kind of appreciate just going out there and making bouquets and just being able to create them. And I like having bouquets in the house, and I like seeing the bees and the butterflies, appreciating what's there. You know, it's I like to say like heaven on earth. You know, just
Yeah.
like where it really hits a lot of those aspects. You know.
Yeah. I can definitely appreciate some like wildflowers, just like just a
Yeah.
field of wildflowers, even just a patch. But uh, the
Yep.
more vast, the better
Yeah,
of
I
a
give people
wow.
props that can create that. You know, just like I feel like sometimes I throw seeds out and they never end up doing anything. So you know, the people that create those wildflower huge rays, like it's
Right.
definitely I mean, and you're really just being a part of nature when you do stuff like that. You know, just like you just see the ecosystem really um, taking part. You know, it's just kind of being trying to be a part of the ecosystem and not against it. You know.
Right. Yeah. That's part of why I planted a clover lawn. Like I mean it's like clover and fescue, but clover for the most part like takes over it. And like dude, the bees this year were just like loving it because we had so much rain early on and then we got none. So
That's
it all
awesome.
died.
Oh,
But it'll come back. It'll come back. I'm gonna reseed it this year to make sure like because I got some like landscaping stuff to do or whatever. But I'm gonna make sure it comes back nice and strong
yeah,
next year.
that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Rain helps for sure.
Rain helps, yeah, and if and not forgetting to set up the sprinklers that helps too.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
got
it's
so
definitely
lazy this
important.
year.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I got
Yeah,
pretty
you got a
lazy.
lot going on.
Yeah, yeah. but but yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you being here. I'll have a link to your Twitter and anything else
Yeah,
that you want to promote. What do you want to promote? Just your Twitter?
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're ever in Jersey, swing down to South Jersey. You know, just Jenner Screens, and that's pretty much it. And then just I'm on Twitter, but you know, just posting pictures on there every once in a while. But you know, just doing my thing, just going through this thing we call life, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I've never been to Jersey, but I'm gonna have to stop sometime. So
Yeah,
I'll hit you
absolutely.
up.
I think that's what kind of I mean, like you kind of go from farm to farm sometimes, right?
That's starting next year. Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely keep me maybe on
Yep.
the to do
That's my
list. You know,
thing. That's my thing. So yeah,
that's awesome.
love to stop by and check it out.
Yeah, we'll
Sounds
do.
good, man. All
Good
right. Thank you for
talking to
being
you.
here. Yeah, you too.
Yep, appreciate it. Take care, guys.
You too. Bye.
See ya.
Excellent conversation with Generous Farmer. He's got a great plan of working hard, but being patient. Thanks for watching, everyone. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video. You can check us out on the Fountain.fm podcast player. You'll love it. You earn Satoshis if you listen. And if you like what you're listening to, you can tip Satoshis, those free Satoshis that you got just for listening. As content creators, we really appreciate that. Check out our website, farmhoplife.com. You can sign up for our email list or Telegram channel there to be notified when new videos, interviews, and podcasts are available. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, MeWe, and Float. You can email me anytime, matt@farmhoplife.com. Check out our 20 by 23 project where we're going to hit up 20 homesteads in the year 2023. I'm always looking for new people to interview. If you want to come on to talk about homesteading, farming, food security, homeschooling, regenerative agriculture, alternative building methods, or anything else, shoot me an idea. Fill out the form, farmhoplife.com/guest. Go feed yourself.
Inside of the city, the people are crazy, out of their minds, they ain't got a clue. We gone away, headed west for Montana, left family and friends, all I got now is you. We both got new jobs, a house and a homestead, thinking this was the life, all that there'd be. After our firstborn, you had to stay home. That's when the send us a message and there